Good morning. B10, Tanamea to Resiutta, about 50 kilometers, 3,000 meters elevation. So a long stage that's going to be split over 2 days, hopefully no longer. And the weather's cooler today, a lot cooler. So hopefully looking to make some good progress. So let's get on the trail. So currently at Tanamea at the end of B9, and we're going to be picking up trail 727 to go over Borchetta Javor, which is a pass at about 1,600 meters. So about 800 meters, maybe a little bit less of elevation first thing this morning. A kilometer in through this nice forest. The path is really good. It's well used. It's pretty steep, about 20%. But yeah, no problems at all on this trail. A much better path than in recent days, that's for sure. Came out the forest here. We're 4 kilometers in, 600 meters elevation. Beautiful views back there into Slovenia. Path comes up here and then goes around here and up to the pass. Not long now. Okay, just came over the pass. Pretty windy up there. 4.5 kilometers in, 700 meters elevation. Took me an hour and 28. And now we're going down this path here, and somewhere we're going to end up down here before getting up on this ridge line. 5.5 kilometers in. Trail down is great. Look at those views. In 3 kilometers we come to Silikarnica, where there's a restaurant. Let's see if it's open. Almost 7.5 kilometers in. Just got to the valley floor. Look at that beautiful church, Santa Ana di Carnica. What a valley. How spectacular is that? Gonna join a road in a minute, and then that will take me to the restaurant in about a kilometer. 8 kilometers in. This is the small settlement of Silikarnica. Looks pretty quiet. There's a restaurant over there, and there's one here that's meant to be open, so let's see if they're inside. Okay, that's a great bar. Open every day. I had a coffee and a sandwich. €6. There's the dog R2. They've spelt hikers wrong on that sign. Anyway, so now I'm going to pick up another trail. I think it's trail 731 up to Montanisca, somewhere up there, 400 meter climb. So it's going to start pretty steeply. So that's what I've come from today. And just when you think the views can't get any better, look at that. All right, we're on the saddle, and we have to go to Montanisca. That's how you pronounce it. Look, there we are. Via Alpina yellow. Going to carry on up here. The summit's 1454, and then it's a ridgeline walk for 9-10 kilometers. Should be nice. Montanisca, 1,454 meters. About 10.5 kilometers in. 1,100 meters elevation. Beautiful. 12 kilometers in, and I've got a ridgeline walk. Look at those views. Unbelievable. Another 4 or 5 kilometers on the ridgeline, and then going to drop back down to the valley. What a perfect day to be in the mountains. 15 kilometers in. Pretty steep climb up to Monte Arazza, the second of 4 mountains we're going to pass today on this ridgeline. This is the summit of Monte Arazza. Not much to say about those views apart from they're breathtaking. 1,522 meters. And now we've got a steep climb up to here, the third peak for the day. This is the view from Monte Benera, 1,615 meters. What a view. And now the trail goes this way up to the final summit for the day. Down there is the road I started at today, start of B10. And the majority of the hikers, what they do is they come up this trail and then they join the Via Alpina yellow here. They come up 733. Also 733, if you're at this point now and you need to stay somewhere, go down 733 and you will be able to find an unmanned bivouac that should be open for overnight accommodation. Something else to consider, there's no water anywhere on this ridgeline. The last time I saw water was over 10 kilometers ago or 10 kilometers ago at the restaurant. And so I'm not going to be able to get water for another hour when I go down to Malaga Coot. Now I know that they have a pond outside collecting rainwater, so I'll be able to filter it. But bear in mind, this is quite an arduous stage. I'm already at nearly 1400 meters elevation, done for the day. If it was baking hot, water could be a problem. So just bear that in mind. Here's the high point for today, 18 kilometers in, 1,500 meters elevation. There's the beautiful Socha River and the Socha Valley in Slovenia. There's Monte Guarda, 1,720 meters, also known as Skutnik. There's Velika Baba. There's Kanin. I live just the other side of Kanin. And now we're going to pick up Trail 741 and go down to the valley. And this is where we've come from this morning. This path down is pretty decent. Heading down to Malaga Kot, which is just down there. And then I'm going to get a water resupply and then we're going to carry on down the valley. That was a pretty decent descent. There's a reservoir that captures the rainwater. I'm going to filter some water. I'm going to sit on that table and make some lunch. And then I'm going to walk down the path and see if I can get a beer at the Malga. So the Malga's not open yet. The staff have just arrived and they're going to be open this Saturday until the end of September. You can get meals there, get a beer there, and I think they offer some sort of rustic accommodation. So for me now, I'm on path 642, going to get into this wood line and then somewhere rejoin path 731 to come down through the valley. Nearly 24 kilometers in, where path 731 joins the road. You got that great river. You can take a dip in there, fill your water bottles in there, have a wash in there. A good place. Right, now we're on the asphalt for about 30 minutes, still on trail 731 towards Cordis. It says 45, but it'll be quicker than that. 25 and a half in, the small town of Corito or Cortis. Nobody here. I'm going to carry on down the valley. Okay, managed to get to Stolbica, put my tent up in the community centre. So I should get a good night's sleep. Long day today, 32 kilometres on the trail, 1,605 metres up. So tomorrow, finish the stage off with 24 kilometres and about 900 to 1,000 metres elevation. So I'll see you on the trail tomorrow. Good morning. Leaving Stolbica now, about 6 o'clock. This is the town hall museum and there's a water source just in the gate. So now going to get back on the trail, starting up with a 800 metre climb, maybe 900 metre climb. Should be about 24 kilometres to do today. So let's get started and see when we finish. 1.5 kilometres after leaving Stolbica, trail 643, nice walk through the forest. Now it looks like going up through the pastures. Just under 3.5 kilometres in, 525 metres elevation, which wasn't too bad. Looks like our trail goes up here. And then when we get to the high point, I think we weave around here, just below the south face of Monte Calzo. Just over 5 kilometres in, And that's the high point for today, 845 meters elevation. So we're now going to pick up new trail 632 coming off 643, and we're going to descend back down to the valley. Probably about 20 kilometers left for this stage, and most of it downhill. So we can review this stage from here. Yesterday morning I came over that pass right over there, dropped down into the valley, then I climbed the top of this ridge line, walked all the way along the whole ridge line to the end, descended down to Malgakot, all the way down to Stolvica, which you can't see, and then back up this side of the mountain. And now I'm going back down. About 12.5 kilometers in for the day, walking down through this beautiful forest, still on path 631. The descent from the high point today has been on great trails. These trails in this valley are well maintained, so shouldn't take too long to finish off the remainder for today. 14 kilometers in on 631. This path is pretty much washed away. It hasn't been walked for a long time, so look for the markers. Look at that cool building. 16 kilometers in for the day, 8 kilometers left, and 7 of those kilometers, the next 7, are all spent on this easy walk-in gravel vehicle access road. So should make good progress. It's 11:45 now, almost midday. Should be finished easily by 2 o'clock. Look at this forest, like the zombie apocalypse. Maybe a big fire, maybe diseased, who knows. 3 kilometers to go. Got about 2 kilometers left, still coming down this track, and that is the head of the valley. After 7 kilometers of walking on the vehicle forest access road, it's time to get back on a footpath. 55 kilometers in for this stage. This is the last kilometer that will bring us to the end of B10. There it is, the end of B10, Resiutta. 56 kilometer stage, 2,840 meters elevation. I split it over 2 days. I recommend that everyone does that stage in its full entirety. Some people cut it short, some people miss it out. Resiutta is the last wilderness in the Alps. Tomorrow on B11 I go into Carnia. In a couple of days I'll be in the Dolomites. They're all geared up for tourism, and so Resiutta is well worth doing the entire stage. So that's it from me, and I'll see you all for B11.